Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. In today's video, I'm going to tell you all the supplies that you'll need as a beginner oil pastel artist. Okay, so the first thing that I believe that you're going to need is a mixed media sketchbook or a textured sketchbook. The importance of using a textured sketchbook is you're going to have more layers, which is going to allow you to have more fun with the blending process of the oil pastels. Now, if you have a mixed media sketchbook, you can totally use that. If anything, I think that works just as good as the textured sketchbook. The one that I have is the 4 colors paper, but I highly suggest this if you really want to invest in a good one. I think this is great for beginners. Moving on to the next product. Now for the best part, the oil pastels. Now the pack that I highly recommend, not only because it has good reviews on Amazon, but because it's under $50. Art set that I have here is Gallery by Mungyo, and I don't know if I said that right, so I apologize. But it's a big boy like this. If you don't want the hardware packaging, you know you're gonna take them out. They do have an option that is in the cardboard package, and I think that's just as appealing as this one. It's just preference, really. Moving on to the next product. And if you're anything like me, sometimes I like to make sure that the piece that I'm doing is super cleaned up, that I can hone in on the details a little bit more just to bring that piece together. And the thing with oil pastels is doing all that can be super tricky. So I recommend that you purchase a blending stump pack, preferably the one that has the sander with it, so that anytime you use it, you just can sand off that residue and then it'll be just like brand new. Some you can peel, but that is a little bit more difficult and that requires so much patience. I do not have the time or patience to do that, but that is definitely something you can do. And what I also recommend is buying different sizes and multiple packs, because this is also like the gloves. You're going to be using a lot of them and you're going to be using it quite frequently. And if you are a bit of the lazy side like I am, sometimes I don't really want to sit here and clean one off to reuse it. I just have multiple, and that also has been great. So highly recommend those. What I will say is, if you're doing this for the first time, you're gonna notice that blending with oil pastels is very different than any other medium. It's not like paint where you can use 2 colors and create multiple colors, and it's not like markers where you just add pressure and the colors get darker. It is a mix and blend situation, so you really have to kind of figure it out. But I think if you are okay with trusting the process and you have patience and you're okay with getting messy, you can definitely do it. Moving on to the next product. What I recommend is going to your hardware store and buying like a 50 pack of gloves, because you are going to be using them a lot. And if you don't want to buy so many, you can go to the Dollar Tree, and they also have less and cheaper packs too. But you can buy this little pack right here. This little pack that I have here is a pastel holder, and this is a great alternative if you don't want to use the gloves. What I like about this alternative is if you're feeling lazy and you know you're not going to make a large art piece, you can definitely use that. However, that's not going to prevent it from getting on your hands, because you do have to grab the pastel and still put the pastel in there. So just be wary of that. Moving on to the next product. If you do happen to get oil pastel on your hands, you're going to notice it is actually quite difficult for you just to simply wash it off. So something that I have that I absolutely keep in my bathroom now from all times, especially knowing that I'm going to get a little art crazy with my pastels, I have this brush, and I got this at the Dollar Tree. Something to keep in mind when you do use the scrubby is make sure you do use moisturizer or you do use oil on your hands afterwards, because something I've noticed a lot with oil pastels is they will dry your hands out, especially after you've gone in with the scrubby. So just keep that in mind. Moving on to the next product. For this step, I think it's very important to keep in mind where you're going to be putting all of your oil pastel pieces. You can get a fixative. This is the one that I like to use, and I think this is really great if you do want to keep your art piece in the sketchbook. Just make sure that you're doing this to every piece that you're done with, and you're doing it in an open and ventilated area. This one I did get, you already know what I'm gonna say, at my local craft store. There is a better one that you can purchase on Amazon. I will pretty much list everything that I've recommended on Amazon as well. If you decide that you don't want to do all this hard work, what I like to do as well is I just kind of keep my work in somewhere where I know it's never gonna see daylight, and I also know that my pets or anyone can touch or mess with, so I make sure that I keep it behind my computer And I just make sure that they're secured to my little board so that one, no one can touch them, and two, I know that they're not gonna fall, and I know my pets can't reach them unless I have my desk super high, which has never happened. Okay, so before I begin, to watch people play horror games because I'm such a chicken when it comes to playing horror games or watching horror things by myself. And I don't even care like the season. It could be Halloween, it could not be Halloween. I just love watching people play horror games. I think it's because it helps me not feel so alone, and it's the closest thing I'm gonna get to watching an actual horror movie. Right now I have King Wolves, and majority of the time I'm not really watching, and I think that's what helps. It's just kind of like a background noise, but every time when I do turn over, I do end up either laughing or scaring myself because I turned at the wrong time. But now that we're all set up kind of, I can go ahead and put you on the tripod so you can watch me make the art. But I just wanted to give you a little idea of what happens before I actually make a video. Okay friends, that is the overall finished piece. So if you enjoyed this video, please like the video, subscribe if you want to see more videos like this, and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye!